Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Wow, it's been a while. Yeah, I've took some time off. I've gone for a little bit more than a week, and yeah, it's good to be back live streaming. But there's quite a new bunch of new updates around Execution Watchdog. Right now, we have the new release 1.2.7, and this has brought in some very significant change that in terms of execution. As we know, Execution Watchdog is highly focused on high quality execution. So with the new updates, you can actually have a little bit of freedom to take trades directly from the app, and your stops are really managed by yourself now. So we removed all the restriction that's keep your stops very tight. So now you can really move your stops where you want it to be. Depends on where you take your trade. I mean, the purpose is really not so you can be reckless, but really give you the freedom, right, to make your own choice where you want your stops to be, right? Like, because there are certain times, because the market moves very fast, you might get in, and your stops might just be, because the way we set the pre-stops, it might put you a little bit outside a predefined stop where you can't be taken out so easily. So with the new updates, you can kind of really move your stops where you want it to be. You can typically the way we'll would advise is always set your stops where the stop needs to be, usually right around below the last previous swing low or swing high, depending on which position you are in. So that's kind of what we did. So we removed that function. You don't have to worry about stop widening trigger. That's like whenever you widen your stop, you get triggered out. So that won't happen anymore. So that's, I think, it's one of the cleanest updates we make. And I think what that also does was it gives you a lot of confidence now to kind of really take your trade and take your trade more often within the app. And so essentially we just make it look precisely just as NinjaTrader. So it's like pretty much you're taking your trade directly with NinjaTrader. But the beauty here is that you can now get, if you take your trade directly on the app, all your journaling, everything is automatic. You don't have to worry about it. It tracks your MFE, MEA. So it just really gives you a very clean journal history. So we highly recommend that when you use the Execution Watchdog, stick to taking your trade on the app, and there's really no restriction anymore. As long as you keep this, so when you turn on your system, when you see this free mode here, make sure you always push it on, and then you get the free mode on, right? Once you get that free mode on, then you're good to go. So you can really, take your trades, widen your stop and stuff like that. So, but if you're not very confident, you really want to be very tight, and you want the system to really manage your stops and everything, then make sure you have it off. Okay. So now I'll bring it back on, and then another thing that I want to point out is when a trade is taken, you will begin to monitor your risk, right? So we include a new update where your risk on any trade is displayed right in front of you. So you can see your risk, and especially when you're scaling, you can see how much risk you're adding when you're scaling in. And if you're not comfortable at it, you can always adjust your stop, to make sure that you put yourself at a risk that is, acceptable within your parameters. And but yeah, I think we thought that was something that is very, very valuable. It all kind of really encourage you to really take trades at the right entry with good setups. All right. So you see that when we start trading, when the market open, and I think that's the two major updates. And I think the prior update, the 1.2.5, that we already talked about that, which you have your coach here where you can actually, at the end of your trading, you can get a direct analysis of how you performed for that day. and also the flags that we mentioned. This was already included now, so you can get entry setup. So right now we're flagging on an E entry, right? So this is not a bear flag or bull flag. It's just a setup, or what we call a scenario, that is being presented in front of us, that it's time to go short on an E entry. And really the reason it's calling it a short is because it says here that we're rejecting a 14 EMA on the 5 minutes. So it's feeling that this could be a continuation to the downside. And generally for me, like if this wasn't, I would, consider it first. You don't necessarily have to take the trade. You can really see how it's reacting. Like now you can see the market is not really responding. So, and depending on your type, like for me, I'm a momentum trader. If this is a true breakdown, we should be seeing continuation. So I personally won't take the trade yet until I see continuation to the downside, and then I can join that trade. But right now it's telling you be prepared for, at least right now it's calling a short entry. And if this setup eventually fade and it doesn't really continue, it will automatically disappear. You're not going to see that flag anymore. And so with this feature, like I said, this is on prior release, but I just kind of want to talk about, emphasize on it a little bit more today, that this is a new feature that really will help, particularly traders who are, I would say, a little bit hesitant to take trades. This is just telling you that there is, gives kind of a reminder, right? There's a setup, but then as a trader, you still have to make your decision, like if this is a trade that's worth taking or not. That is really up to you. But again, if you do a lot of back testing, a lot of practices, you will know, you eventually get the confidence that if this is a trade to take or not. So Execution Watchdog is purely discretionary trade tool. So, and we want to keep it that way. The goal is to help traders be a better trader. So that's that. And so I think today we'll just, like I said, so we got 15 minutes to the market open. So let's kind of talk through what is going on in the market right now. So as we can see, we had a huge gap at the open, right? So let me bring my chart here. You can see here. So we'll just show you, this is my Ninja Trader, which I'm, tracking the market. So right now we are looking at, so this is our open here. We had a huge gap, right? So, and we've been, extending from the gap. And so coming from prior close, right, we closed extremely bearish last Friday. And so we're trying to retrace most of those. We've essentially almost retraced everything, if not, right? And so this is really becoming interesting. So if the overall trend in the market is bearish, there are two things that could happen. This could just be a bigger retracement, for continuation to the downside, which is very highly likely because, again, our 4 hours is still bearish, the daily is still bearish. And so the bullishness we're seeing on the 15 minutes is just, like I said, I would always want to treat it as a retracement until key supports are broken. So what are the key supports, right? I mean, you can also look that from the charts, particularly look at it from the 4 hours. What is your prior support? What is your prior resistance on the 4 hour? Is it breaking? Is the 1 hour broken? So if none of those are broken, then you really want to treat this more as a retracement to the to continue to the bigger time frame trend, right? Now, if that doesn't happen, if there's some breakout, then this is a true reversal, right? So you can look at that from that point of view. But right now, this Execution Watchdog trade on the 5 minutes, right? So it's a scalping technique. So we look for any scalp, right? So if there's a bullish scalp, we scalp for that bullishness. But you also have to be aware that what the market context really is. So speaking of market context, right? Let's get to what Execution Watchdog does extremely well. So let's go to the notes section here, right? So on the notes section, this is where we can get a daily market contest. So it will compare prior close or prior session and the current session where the market currently stands. So right here, we'll click Get Market Contest, and with the built-in AI tool, it will analyze the market from prior session to Asia session, London session, and the session we're about to enter. So we got our analysis here cleanly, and so typically the first thing I do, I start from the bottom, right? What is it telling me? What is the bias? Bearish, right? Bearish with caution. So it says prior day bearish close and dominant 4-hour, 1-hour downtrend structure outweigh the 50 minutes bounce, right? So just as I mentioned, the bigger time frame, they are still strongly, on the downtrend, so they're bearish. And obviously they outweigh the 15 minutes. So the 15 minutes just probably turn bullish due to the gap up at the Asian. So you want to be very cautious with that, right? So these are classical retracements, right? Until otherwise. So it said treat the London Asian range reclaim as corrective, just as I mentioned, pretty much as a retracement to favor fading rallies, right? So we could fade this rally. That's kind of the high probability. Now, so it's giving you a point where rallies could be faded. So between 28,684, actually, I can bring in the 5 minutes chart here so we can look at it while we talk through this. So keep my charts. Sorry, I put it right here. Sorry, this is the chart I precisely will be trading from. So just want to be so here, let me quickly switch this one back up. So so it says 28,684. So 28,684 right around here, right? So it's just kind of looking at the current 5 minutes action. So we are having a resistance right now, okay? So this trend here now is really suggesting that, the fade is already started happening right in front of our face, right? So 28,722, so this region here is where we really, the market could open up to here and then fade back. If it breaks out, then, I wouldn't even take a trade. I still want to make sure that all this area has been cleared up, right? All the highs from the Asia session, they are all cleared up. But right now, we are still trading below, right? So if you look at it, just give you a broader picture. So this is the opening gap, right? So we're pretty much trading below the opening gap right now. So the fact that we break that opening gap, there's a high probability that this will be a fade rally, right? It definitely will try to fade most of the opening gap. So just want to bear that in mind, right? So it's very important you get that contest, really clear. So that's basically it. That's where I stop. So it's giving me my buyers that it is bearish with caution, and the structure is also telling us why it is bearish, right? And so you can look at the multi-time frame structure. It will tell you basically what you have here, on your left panel. That's basically what it's interpreting. But I think the key feature here is really the summary, right, of the bias. That's kind of really where I think I took a lot of values here. I really used the bias to really help me align with the structure of the market of what I'm saying. Right, so that's there. So I think this is very valuable. I will always encourage, you run this every morning before if you trade, the New York Open, just before the market open, run it, and you get your own, you get what the bias is saying if it aligns with what you're also viewing from the market as well too. All right. So we got about 10 minutes to the market open, and we'll certainly wait. And like I said, the market is already really fading already, and we'll take some trades. So in the meantime, just gonna get some quick break, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so the structure there is currently a confirmed downtrend, right? So now we break this last support on the 5 minutes, and so it's definitely a strong, it's confirming a bearish downtrend. So the market is about to open in 4 minutes. I will see where this continues, right? It's also very possible you will get a instant reversal, but right now at the moment this is becoming a fade rally essentially. So I was trying to fade the gap from the Asia and London session. So yeah, so it's this very clean structure we're seeing here. We got a high, lower high. This one almost form an equal high, right? So this is where, if I traded a pre-session, right, this was definitely a clean short entry, right? Just the fact that it couldn't break and this following 5 minutes turned red, right, became a bearish candle. So, but we'll see. I think it looks like market already telling us what is about to happen. So I really think this is definitely if this setup continue, it will print a very clean market structure for, I would say, early trade entry. So, but again, as usual, I will always wait. I always let the open, at least the 50 minutes open, to really see what the conference structure want to look like. So we gotta be patient here. Yep, we're breaking down. All right. So 5 minutes is strongly bearish. 50 minutes, it's just hanging in there. But I think if we continue to go down, we'll see what it does. Our EMA separation, we can see we've been pretty much if you want to correspond the movements with the 5 minutes chart, there's been a couple of cross here, right? This is a cross we had, I think it's right here. It's about last 2 hours, and we've pretty much been expanding to the downside, and then we had some retracements, which is right here, and now we'll EMA separation is expanding again. So I would say this last 2 hours here has kind of really been a momentum expansion to the downside. So if we're getting 2 hours of selling, maybe the first 5 minutes, 50 minutes of open might it may continue, or we shall see. So 30 seconds. So what I'm looking for here is two things: a continuation, right? I want to look for a flush, and then a retracement close to the EMA, and then I can join the short, right? Those are the one scenario. And then the second scenario, a complete reversal will break this level, and then I'll look for long. All right, market is open. So I also have my 1 minute. I'm also tracking. Okay, so right now I'm looking at the 1 hour. It is broken. Well, not yet, but it's almost about to break the support, right? So the last 1 hour swing low is actually retesting it now. So That is something you want to pay attention to. Usually when it gets to a hourly swing low, it tends to be a reversal. So, but it's not doing that yet, so I don't want to guess it. I want to see it happening. And we're still taking it. Okay. So if that 1 hour swing is completely engulfed, then I think maybe this would be a clear confirmation that there's no interest. Buyers are not interested at all. So, but we're still trading at that swing. So we're not accelerating outside that range. So just want to pay attention to that. I'm also watching the 1 minute as well too, to see if there's any rapid change in price action, reaction. So far none. Okay. Let me see there. Okay. All right, so we're pushing. Okay, so we just sweep the swing low on the 1 hour, and yeah, momentum is really fast. So okay, all right, we just tapped it, and so we're all bearish now. Our time frame is strongly bearish. All right, so from here now I want to wait for a retracement. So wait for some pullback, because usually when those swing low is taken out, there is definitely some reaction. So I just want to wait for a pullback before I join the short. So right now the market is confirmed, like this is a clear, it wants to go down. So no pullback. There's a rapid acceleration to the downside. Okay. All right, so this is a very rapid down movement. So I don't know, joining the short here is definitely not. Yeah, so the 1 minute now it's okay. So we're getting the reaction at the swings. So if you decide to take a long, you take a counter trend. Just so you know, it's a counter trend, and you really have to have an extremely low expectation, right? So, and it's also good to do that. It's possible, depends on what the market is telling you. So I like what I'm seeing here. Let's see. Okay. Take my first long here. So like I said, I have very low expectations, so I am not gonna chase a lot here. I'm just looking for a few stops here. Okay, sweet. All right, so that's $600 long trade. I know it's keep going on, so I'm just gonna log this in quickly first. Plan stuck there. I wanted it on point. No excitation. All right. So that's logged in. We get back to the live chat. All right. So so I got about 35 points there, close to 35 points. Yeah, I caught that trade because, like I said again, it is a counter trend. And typically when I trade counter trend, I really don't look for much. Okay. Now this could continue. This could continue to be a reversal for the end of the day, but at least the first trade, I really want to take it light, right? Because it's a counter trend. So I'm gonna wait and see what happens from here. And I'm also watching in 1 minute. If we form a higher low on the 1 minute, then it probably going to be the counter trend probably will continue to be on the upside, and I would join the long for sure, but I want to see that print first. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, so we're getting some. All right, so I'll take another long here again. Oops. Okay. All right, I'll take that one. Quick stop there, just to. Not capture that one very well. Okay, so we're breaking down. Okay. So we'll completely reverse. Yeah, it was very late on that entry. That will. Okay, so we're about closing the gap, and I think at this point I will just wait for see when the gap closure happens and what happens next, right? But again, I mean, given how deep we've been selling, I kind of feel like there's gonna be some reversal happening here soon. So also I don't want to catch a falling knife as well too. Okay, so where we at? So maybe we may have gotten our low for the day. Let's see here. May want to take no, not quite, not sure. Yeah, so it's still showing a lot of weakness to the downside for sure. So right now, the 1 minute is really presenting a higher low structure, right? So I think this is where you want to have a little bit of conviction, and I believe there's going to be some, but again, it's very, very hard, right? There's definitely, I think there's a battle right here. Once this low is taken, the bear will win. Once this this little bit high here is taken, the bull will win. So there's a strong battle here, but it's very likely the bear is gonna, win this battle and really want to bring this to the ground before yeah. Let's see where this goes. Almost seems like there's more room to the downside for sure. There's still a good, 100, yeah. Okay, so well, so we're what, almost at 6:55. Almost certainly seems like the move is, yeah, so the bear is about to win now, so. Yep, 1 minute is completely broken. So yeah, so the bear win the battle. So I guess the next stop now is the previous day close at 28 to 90. Okay. All right, stay here. So the gap is essentially filled now, right? Okay, so um, I didn't join the shorts for obvious reasons. You know, I thought this was going to be right here. It's going to be our retracement to the upside, and you know, this was a lot of fake out, right? So, but we're close to the gap fill, so I just felt just wait and see what happens. So now this is going to be a very, very key area here. Like if we're going to continue to break down, to really cement the strong bearish momentum we had in the market, that is very, very possible as well too. But just, you know, be aware that we just close a gap. So definitely wait for some retracement. Will definitely come in handy here. You know, so yeah, retracements are just not there. I'll be quite frank, you know, this yeah, this kind of selling is definitely, I must admit, is new to me, and it's just, I mean, you would think at some point it's just, I mean, the 1 hour was really, let me show you the 1 hour. This was really, is a statement. This 1 hour is a statement. That's just what it is. A clear statement that something really big is coming. This is yeah. At the open, right? This the 1 hour open, just complete decimation. That's just those who woke up, saw a gap up. I mean, it's just, yeah. This is it's a statement. It's clearly a statement, and for me as a trader, I would almost want to admit here that I was surprised. I was surprised to a certain degree, but like I said again, it's very easy to say, yeah, follow market structure, which is, which really dominates. But, we have the inner side of us that will always like, okay, what is going on here, right? But that is the thing we need to avoid to do. We really have to. When the market wants to move, it will move. I mean, like I said, this 1 hour is a clear statement, and it's not over yet. I really think, give it what it is here. This is even now, a better evidence that, if you're doubting and you're not sure, you got to be sure here. This is a, yes, the market wants to go. That's just what it is. Like you cannot let anything hold you back, right? To think otherwise, because this behavior is a true selling. This is nothing to do with, there's no algo here. This is real participants who strongly believe that price should not be where it is right now, for obvious reasons. So, so if you look at it, the Dow is up. So this is not, I would say, so the only thing you got to be cautious here, this is not a market sell-off. So you got to put that in the back of your mind. The Dow is up pretty nicely. The Dow didn't give up much, actually went higher. But this is a tech specific issue. So there's a statement going out there. If you look at the note from Michael Burry, like he's completely all in short on tech. Like, I saw the note this morning. I was like, okay. He has, and like I said, today is his day. He made it very clear. He actually added all this short position on Friday at the close, and which I'm not sure if he's making money, but obviously, whatever losses he had, the overnight, he has reclaimed everything, right? So, and I'm pretty sure he probably added more, so, but yeah, it is, like I say, this is a tech, we're just having a clean tech sell-off, right? Everything is green, but the chip sector are, yeah, they're completely decimated. So, so I don't know how long this will drag on the Nasdaq. It could be as long as it takes, but like I said, the selling has been going on, and I think the other thing we got to pay attention to is, which I really think this sell-off it makes a lot of sense to me. Again, in the tech in the chip sector, we're talking of highly commodity sector, right? And I understand the AI demand is really, but this will not last forever, right? The AI is just not going to be for there. It will come to a stop, and for cheap stocks that usually will be trading at 5 times, they are all 20 times. So I think market is just like repricing it. I get it. AI is gonna be it's never going to last for long. That's just the history of the sector. They're just in the super cycle, and clearly it makes a lot of sense right now that, you know, this is where, this is the waterfall level for them, because, you know, will they continue to have this earning for the next 5 years? Absolutely no. It's not going to happen. So the market now is looking at future earnings, right? So the future earnings for these cheap stocks are, if you're looking at it from here, then they are so expensive, right? They are extremely expensive. So, I mean, they really got to go down a lot more, because, you know, like would their earning goes down to where it was like 2024? Probably no, right? It's not going to go down, but it's not going to grow. That's kind of really what I think the market is saying. It's just not going to grow from here. And of course it will go, but like not, I mean, going down, no, but it's definitely not growing from here, because obviously supply will increase when there's more supply. Yeah, the price, because the reason that these guys are making so much money is just the supply crunch, right? So, okay, anyway, let's see, let's trade. Boom, 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 boom. Right. Okay, so more continuation to the downside. It's it's an all-out bleed out today. Oh my God, look at that. We just did not. Yeah. 15 minutes. Yeah, every 15 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh. This is actually one of the, let me see, let me compare it to, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah, I feel we're bottoming out here, to be quite honest with you. You know, let's be realistic here. Okay, right at the bottom. Right, let me see if I can log this one in. So we've completely now taken out the previous session low. It's been taken out. So this is definitely more room to the downside then. Finding this level. This level is big. So on the daily, yeah. Yeah, so the next level is right around yeah, 27,750. So that's about 300 points from there. We can easily touch it today. So monthly candle completely about to engulf May. All right, so right now we are getting within the bearish momentum, we are seeing a full bull flag formation happening, right? So typically the bull flag now is calling for, we have a retracement up and there's a retracement down, right? But we're not really taking out the entire retracement, right? And there is really no strong selling to the downside. So this is kind of building up to that. So what I would do is I would take the long here just because of that. So what I would do now is I'll give it a lot of room. So now I'm setting my risk to yeah, so roughly 500 bucks, right? So let's see if we get this bull flag play out.